Last year, I helped out a lot of student films and also went to film screenings which included student films and noticed a lot of similarities or cliches. To be honest, I also suffered from these cliches before until I saw many student films including the same things and learned to avoid these cliches, and it improved my short films that I was working on by removing these cliches. Many student films opens with somebody or one or two people waking up in bed. However, it has become such a cliche opening or scene that it's better to avoid it than to include, as most of them don't have a meaning with the shot or scene than having a really easy opening. Because most of them you can literally just cut away the waking up scene and just start the film at a later point, as most of the time the waking up opening isn't important enough to include. After waking up, of course you would wash your face and look into a mirror, but this is also a cliche scene. More often they say it's about the character reflecting on themselves. However, more often it's not well used, especially when it's at the start of a film and we don't know what the character is reflecting about. Also, because the bathroom mirror scene is overused so much, it has become a major cliche. If you want to show somebody reflecting on themselves, there are more different kind of reflective surfaces that you can use instead of a bathroom mirror. To finish off the trinity of opening cliches, we have the breakfast scene. This is often just more of a filler scene because they already have the waking up, going to the bathroom and finishing off the morning with a breakfast. More often these three are a cliche opening combo, as mostly copying standard openings of a lot of vloggers, but more often these can be deleted as the real story starts after the three scenes with the character leaving his home. Even if there is a monologue or dialogue, more often these can also happen somewhere else with more meaning and a reason. There are a lot of dreams or hallucination films where the main character is sleeping, meditating, hypnotized, passed out, or under influence of drugs or something else, and has a montage of different shots and often showing the past, present and future, or the 5 stages of grief. But instead of a short dream sequence, the majority of the film is a dream or a hallucination, and the film ends up with them waking up being changed. Those students think they are being creative and new because they haven't seen these kind of films before. The reality is there are a lot of these films made by students and become quite a cliche. Also more often written by cinematography students, and it includes a lot of interesting looking shots without needing a coherent story. They do this so they have a lot of good looking shots to fill their showreel, as there are a lot of difficult cliche shots like underwater shots or a infinity black or infinity white studio shots and more. The biggest problem is these films don't have a coherent story and is often just a cinematography showreel. There's also a lot of psychological movies, but the major problem with a lot of them, they don't explain why the person is psychotic. The excuse is that they are psycho because they are psycho, and often also includes cliche scenes of the character randomly murdering somebody out of nowhere, as if they only watched Psycho partially and missed the point that Norman Bates became psychotic because how Norman was treated by his mother. As the story is always stronger when there is a reason for certain actions. Someone being psychotic or crazy with no reason often is a weaker story than when you know where the actions actually come from. A lot of students are targeting queer film festivals, as recently there have been a lot of them, and also they are often free or have a low entry fee. However, there seems to be a lot of cliche out of the closet stories with the main character telling their family or loved ones, with either the positive or a negative response. However, many of them basically is the same story, just with a different culture, ethnicity or location, while there are plenty of other queer stories they could explore, as coming out of the closet has become quite a cliche and also quite predictable. Because they often want to do a twist result, so when the parents are portrayed as an anti-queer, the twist to be that they are actually okay with it, and vice versa when they hint that they are pro-queer, that the twist is that they are actually anti. It's better to think beyond this, as there are other queer stories or struggles that aren't as well known to tell about. Students copying the style of certain filmmakers, may it be Tarantino, Wes Anderson, or any other, more often because the student is such a fan of the filmmaker's style, but is blindsided that it does not match the story or genre that their short film are made for. Yet they also do not understand the filmmaker's style enough to understand why they chose to film in a particular way and which genre fits the most well with it. An example why this is a problem: I have worked on a short film that was just a simple thriller, and it was messed up by a student editor who was a big Tarantino fan and changed what's supposed to be an easy thriller film that was shot in a thriller style, but he added it with Western music, and it became an off-weird Western parody and lost all the thriller elements because he added Western music. But there are also too many Wes Anderson fans who film everything boringly flat. While they don't understand, Wes Anderson films use a lot of set decoration and color palettes to make his image look very interesting, and not just film as symmetrically as possible, but also his style does not fit in all genres of film. Comment below what other student film cliches you think student filmmakers should be aware of, and thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!